All right, Governor Andy Beshear wrapping up a rather lengthy news conference tonight. He began with a message for kids across the Commonwealth. Had a lot of new information today in this news conference. We're going to go over some of that in just a bit. We're now going into our abbreviated 6 o'clock newscast. Good evening, everyone. And as you saw, the governor just reported now at least 26 cases of COVID-19 in the Commonwealth. That's just up one from yesterday, but with more cases expected, the governor has announced more steps to limit our contact with anyone who could have the virus. And some of those new steps tonight include closing gyms, salons, and movie theaters, among other entertainment type venues. Now, those must close by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Earlier this afternoon, our sister station, WKYT, sat down with the governor about this ongoing threat.
Well, I look forward to the day, and I'm working to the day, where everyone who wants to get tested can get tested. That'll be a good day both for the mental health of our people, and it'll help us be a whole lot more targeted. But every set of dates that I get for that seem to change. It's important for me not to give people false hope. It'll come. We will have it at some time in the future, but we got to be ready for what our situation is on the ground right now. I'll tell you, I'm done with politics in this building. What we're facing is a state of emergency, and I can't waste my time on the back and forth anymore. I got a whole state of people that I am looking out for every day. So here's what the General Assembly needs to do. They need to choose one of two options. Option one, pass a budget, make that the only thing you're going to do, pass it as quickly as possible, and adjourn. The reason that would be important is there's the possibility that we're still dealing with this when the next fiscal year starts. I hope that's not the case, but there's the possibility. And without having a budget, it would make spending very difficult in addressing this epidemic. So we would have a lot of financial security in how we address the epidemic if we got a budget. Option two, just go ahead and adjourn. I would be willing to call a special session in the future when it is safe, but I'm going to tell you I'm only going to call a special session to address the budget and anything related to the coronavirus.
That was Governor Andy Beshear earlier this afternoon talking to our sister station, really putting his foot down for the General Assembly, really only offering one of two options for them moving forward. As you heard, the governor also said that we are not close to a statewide shutdown or any type of curfew. Now, tonight is the end of the first full day of no restaurant dine-in services. While there is still drive-through, to-go, and delivery, many businesses across the state are having to change the way they do things. WYMT's Will Puckett went to Whitesburg today to find out how one Main Street staple is keeping their business going for now. And right now, Will is live in Perry County, where one business is locking its doors. Will?
Steve, good evening. We are outside of Joe's substation where there's a sign on the door that says they are temporarily closed due to that state mandate. We talked with the owner yesterday who said for them, they're going to have to close because the majority of the money that they make is made off of a bar tab and they can't give people alcohol to go. But if we head up about 30 minutes up Kentucky 15 to Whitesburg, Heritage Kitchen, like you mentioned, is working on bridging that gap for the time being with to-go orders, curbside delivery, and delivery.
Okay, I've got you. Give us about 15-20 minutes, okay?
For Heritage Kitchen, this is somewhat of a shock to the system.
We knew it was coming. I mean, there wasn't much surprise. Just the exact time was the surprise. And so then trying to accommodate that.
To-go was already part of their daily business, but now making it the center point is going to take some time.
It's a drastic change. We are a sit-down restaurant, and so trying to evolve into something that we aren't normally has been a challenge.
But this is their new reality. Answering phones,
you can pay in cash or in card.
and walking from the kitchen to wherever in Whitesburg they're called to.
What we're trying to show is that we'll consistently be here as long as we can be. For us, we have a certain time set in our minds that we can continue doing this, and if things get much, much worse, then there's a time that we could not do this.
That still is a far-off thought. As for the time being, they continue to move forward.
Adapting, yes. Always adapting, but I think any good small business owner already knows that is something that you have to do over time, is always adapt and have a different business model available to keep moving forward.
As they ask their customers to see them today, tomorrow, and next week. Steve, now the owners of Heritage Kitchen say right now it is more important than ever to buy from your local businesses. They say in order to make that process a little bit easier, they are actively working on getting their online ordering back up and running so people can do that and they don't have to rely on calling in. As for the owners of Joe's Substation, they're taking it relatively in stride. They said, well, now it might be time for a long overdue vacation. Steve.
All right, Will Puckett, thank you very much. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, ARH hospitals are implementing some new strict restrictions on their visitation policy. They will now only allow visitation between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. There will also only be allowed one visitor at a time, with each visitor screened for temperature and respiratory symptoms. The intensive care, skilled nursing, and behavioral health units will no longer accept any visitors. These policies will go into effect starting tomorrow. We'll be right back.